Hello again, and welcome back to another essential Matwork class. Today's session is going to focus predominantly on core strength and stability. So we're going to be looking a lot at the pelvis and pelvic stability, and at the shoulders and scapular stability, and then we're going to be looking at the rib connection, pulling the two together. So the warm-up is going to focus predominantly on that, and then all of the exercises that we do throughout this session are going to look largely at helping you to think about the connection between the two ends of your torso and how the two work together and how you can best control them. So to start the warm-up, we're just going to begin with our breathing as normal. So I just want you to sit with your feet out in front of you, about a hip's distance apart, knees parallel, hands gently rested on your shins. You're going to breathe in and sit nice and tall, and then just breathe out, expelling all the air from your lungs. Just try and focus on straightening out the spine. Find that neutral position, that little curve in your lumbar spine, and then the curve in the other direction going up through your thoracic. Imagine you've got that little thread pulling up on your head, and just try and find your sit bones underneath you. Find that balance point where you feel nice and neutral. Breathe in, lengthen the spine, sit nice and tall, and out through gently pursed lips. As always, we're just trying to focus on about a 25% effort with our breathing, and just take the time in this position to find a seated position that feels natural and comfortable. On every inhale, I just want you to focus on expanding the ribs out, side to side, forwards and backwards, upwards and down, expanding through all three dimensions. Try and fill your lungs with as much air as you can. And then when you breathe out through gently pursed lips, just think about that tube of toothpaste, and you're squeezing the air out, contracting concentrically with your transverse abdominis muscles all the way around the waist. And as we breathe out, we're just going to gently lift up with the pelvic floor. And as we breathe in, we're feeling the diaphragm engage, feeling the ribs lift. And I do tend to try and take quite a long time with the breathing during the warm-up, just because I feel like it really helps you get in the mindset. And I find with Pilates, once you get the breathing correct, everything else follows. So on our next exhale, we're going to articulate from the head, and we're just going to lower down. Bring the eyes down between the knees. Inhale and expand the back, keeping the head down. And exhale between the knees. Feel the air leave your body. Inhale and expand, pushing the ribs out. And exhale, engaging with the abdominals. And now as we inhale, stack the spine. Head's the last thing to come up. Inflate yourself, sit nice and tall, and as we exhale, articulate the head and come back down. Inhale, breathing through the back. Exhale, engaging with the abdominals. And you should feel like the ribs at the front of your body are sort of pushing forwards towards your legs as you inhale as well. And as we're breathing in this position, try and keep the shoulders down. Try not to hunch up as you inhale. And then on our next inhale, sitting nice and tall, coming all the way up. And then just slide yourself along the mat and lie down. And we're going to go into our imprint and release. So right from the off, try and find your neutral position. So there should be that little grape's distance between your lower back and the mat. So you're not tense through the abdominals, but everything feels just ever so slightly engaged to help you push the hips up towards the ceiling and just create that little arch between the back and the mat. We're going to inhale. Now as we exhale, just lower the lower back down to the mat, close that gap up. Now inhale and return to neutral. And I want you to imagine, rather than rolling the hips, all you're doing is just lowering the back. So it's not so much a rolling motion as it is a sort of raising and lowering. So just try and keep your hips and your shoulders an even distance apart, kind of locked in place on the mat. And all you're doing is just articulating from both ends of the body to just open that gap up and then close it back down again. Try and keep the legs relaxed. Sometimes it's tempting to kind of engage the leg muscles a bit to try and move your hips around. But again, just try and keep those two fixed pivot points at either end of the body, engaging with the abdominal muscles so that our ribs are connected to our pelvis. And all you're doing is finding that grape's distance and then pushing your back down into the mat, squishing the grape. One last time, go into neutral, into imprint, and then back up into neutral. And then we're going to maintain that neutral position as we lift one leg up to tabletop and then the other. We're going to do a spinal rotation, but today what we're going to do is rotate with the legs rather than with the shoulders. You might want to bring your arms a little bit wider out just to create a better balance base. Your legs are gently pressed together, so just try and find light contact between the feet and the knees. Inhale, and now as we exhale, we're going to let the knees drop to one side. My shoulders are staying firmly glued to the mat, and I'm allowing my pelvis to roll. Now I'm going to inhale in this position, and as I exhale, my pelvis is going to rock back to the center, still maintaining neutral. Keep exhaling and roll all the way to the other side. Use that abdominal connection to hold yourself in place. Inhale and expand through the chest, keeping the shoulders glued to the mat. And exhale, roll back to the center and all the way over to the other side. So what you're trying to do here is keep the top half of the torso in place. And then we're just rotating through the spine, mobilizing that lower and mid-thoracic. We're just using our legs as a counterweight to assist in that. So almost imagine like the hinge joint in a door, where you've got those two cylinders butting up against each other that make up the hinge, and then they're rotating past each other. So that's the movement. You've got one section of your body rotating while the other stays stationary, and they're just articulating past each other. Do one more on each side. As you come over and you're exhaling, don't let your abs collapse in, maintain that rib connection. Inhale, and as you exhale, come back up to the center. Just put one foot down, and then the other. Make sure you're still in that neutral position, and then we're just going to lift our arms up towards the ceiling, or the sky if you're outside. Inhale, push your hands up, and exhale, return them to neutral for our scapular isolation. Inhale and up. Exhale, return to neutral. Inhale and up. As we did before, imagine you've got a big bowl of bread dough in front of you. And you're just going to push your fingertips up into the bread dough and then pull them back out. Sticky bread dough, pulling your fingers back in, and then relax. And now on the inhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades back, slide them along the rib cage, and relax back to neutral. So what you're trying to do is just control the distance between the scapula and the ribs, and just try and get them to slide laterally in towards the spine, and then back out again, and relax there. Lower the arms all the way down. We'll do arm circles now. I might have chosen a terrible place to do this because there's a tree right next to me, but we'll just try and make do. So we're going to inhale. Arms are going to come up, reach them all the way above your head, and now as we exhale, circle them along the ground, don't hit the tree, and inhale, circle above, overhead, arms are parallel, and then bring them round. So again, this is all about controlling your scapula, maintaining stability. So as they come up, try and hug your shoulder blades in towards your back as hard as you can. And as you reach this point here, where they kind of want to pop away and your shoulders want to open, that's your cue to open your arms up and keep them hugging your back as you bring them round. Try and keep your fingertips extended. Obviously I have to bend my arms a little bit because I decided to lie next to a tree. And let the arms drift along the ground. Relax the arms there. And now we're just going to do our head nods. So you're going to inhale. You're going to push your chin down towards the chest. The back of your head slides up away from the back. So you're not curling the head up. You're just pivoting your head on the top of your spine. And then as we exhale, release. Inhale, push them out away from you. And exhale, look back up towards the ceiling. So you always want to imagine you've got something that you're looking at up in front of you. You're just following it with your eyes and then bringing your eyes back up to the top. So you're not trying to crunch your head in. Maintain that little distance, like you've got a rubber ball. You're just squishing gently and then releasing. And now finally for our warm-up, we're going to do elevation and depression of scapula. So you're going to inhale, slide your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale, slide them away. So use the mat and use your hands just for a bit of proprioception. Just slide your hands along the mat and it helps you feel where your shoulder blades are against the mat. So you're just trying to imagine you've got, almost like you've got wings, like big angel wings, and they're just against the mat. And you're trying to keep them as close to your body as possible while you're just sliding your hands up and down. And we're just going to relax there. Take a breath in this position. Just take a moment to appreciate your surroundings. Even if you're indoors, find the beauty in the little things. And just relax there. Just lift one leg up, grab the back of your knee, and just bring yourself up to a nice seated position. And we're going to get ready to go into our main workout. We're going to start off with the basics, with ab prep. So all you're going to do to begin with is just swing your legs around, your feet flat on the floor, knees at 90 degrees. Your legs are about a hip's distance apart. You're going to lower yourself down, find your neutral pelvis, make sure the abs are engaged. So again, just to sort of revise what we've talked about before, when you go into this position, if you're not engaging your abs, it's sort of tempted to just let everything relax. And then you can feel your ribs kind of poking through at the top. And also you sort of feel a tendency of the pelvis to want to kind of slip away from you a little bit and collapse down. As soon as you engage the abs, it acts like a suspension bridge, pulling between your ribs and your pelvis. So even though your abs are traditionally used to pull you up, having that little bit of tension across the top of the body actually helps with the lower back to kind of squeeze everything in a little and maintain that neutral position. So legs are relaxed but firmly pointed upwards, fingertips extend along the mat. If you want to put a little rolled up towel or something underneath your head just to support your neck and maintain that head position, feel free to do so. We're going to inhale, push the mat away from us as we head nod. Exhale, peel the spine away, lifting the hands up. Look down between the knees, inhale to hold, and then as we exhale, lower yourself back down. So it's that peeling motion. As you come up, the head lifts away. We're maintaining our neutral position, so just come up as far, probably as the tips of your shoulder blades. And then as soon as you feel like that neutral wants to collapse, that's where you hold it. And then you're just going to lower back down. Head nod, peel away, arms stay parallel to the ground. Try not to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Little hold, and then lower. Keeping control of the abs at all times. So as we come up, try not to let the abs take over and contract together and kind of bulge out. we're using the transversus abdominis as well to pull the abs down laterally. So we're kind of cinching everything in at the waist. We're just going to do one more. Inhale, head nod. Exhale, lift yourself up. Inhale and hold, lengthening through the neck. Exhale, lower yourself back down. So from our ab prep position, we're going to lift ourselves up and over, and we're going to go straight into the breaststroke prep. So we're going to lie down. We're going to do 2 of the breaststroke preps today. So the first one is with our hands down by our shoulders. So place your hands just on either side of the shoulders. Your forearms are flat on the ground and parallel. Feet are together with the toes gently pointed. And then you're just going to lower your head down so that your nose is hovering about 1 inch or 2 away from the mat. Feel what the shoulder blades are doing. Try and make sure that the shoulders aren't shrugged up towards the ears. So we're lengthening through the spine to begin with. And then once you're confident you've got your starting position correct, inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to engage with the abs, engage with the lower back muscles, and we're just going to peel ourselves up, away from the mat, look forward, extend, inhale, and as we exhale, lower back down again. Inhale and hold, exhale, push the nose forward, push the chest forward, peel up and away like you're being stretched out, away from your pelvis, which is staying firmly stuck in place. Inhale and hold, exhale, lower back down. And the rib engagement with the abs is really important here, because if you lose it, your ribs will sink down into the mat because they've got nothing supporting them, connecting them to the pelvis. So you might almost feel like you want to push into the mat with your abs in order to make sure that you're maintaining that engagement. And I'm not pushing through my hands, as before I can take my hands away if I want and maintain this position. They're just there to give me a little bit of support to help me feel what my shoulder blades are doing. Lower it back down, and now to test that, we're going to go into the 3rd prep, I think. So you're going to lift your hands up, bring them down towards your hips, so your palms are just gently resting on your legs just below your hip bones. Again, feel what your shoulder blade's doing, so don't let the arms relax down into the mat. Engage with the shoulder blades, open up the chest, inhale, and now as you exhale, rib engagement with the abs, lift yourself up, lengthen as we inhale, lower as we exhale. And at the bottom, find length through the spine, make sure you're not scrunched up too much, exhale, rib connection pulls us up, looking forward, reaching the head out nice and long, don't shrug the shoulders up, inhale, hold, exhale, lower back down. And we're just going to do 1 more of those. Inhale, exhale and lengthen, like someone's grabbing onto either side of your head with their hands and they're just pulling you out and away from the mat, like they're trying to stretch you away from your pelvis, and lower it down. All you're going to do now is plant your hands on either side of your chest, put your toes underneath your feet, and if you can, a little bit of a challenge for you, try and push through the hands and the knees and go back in one smooth motion. You're going to go into a shell stretch, so your hands are going to firmly grip the mat, and you're going to start off just sort of relaxed on top of your legs. There should be a little bit of a stretch going through your lats, but now as we inhale, push the back out, exhale, hold that curve. As we inhale, expand the back further, like you're trying to sort of pull your back apart from the spine outwards. Expand, exhale, relax. Inhale 1 last time, stretching through the back. Exhale, relax. Now our final inhale, Just pull the weight back on top of the hips and just slowly stack the spine and sit up nice and tall. Take one good breath here. And I always like to add that little breath on at the end, just because as you come up, sometimes you can get a bit of a head rush if you go into things too quickly. So just make sure you take the time to kind of reorient yourself. We're going to do the roll up now. So if you have a pole to hold on to, it can help a little bit just to kind of feel whether or not your scapular stability is there, but I'm not going to use one today. So our starting position is our feet dorsiflexed, pointed up towards the ceiling. Your legs are going to be parallel, about a hip's distance apart. You're going to lie down, find your neutral, little gap between the mat and your lower back, and then we're just going to bring the arms up overhead. Lower them down, and you'll start to feel that tension building up through the shoulder, through the pectorals, and a little bit in the lats as you stretch them out. And again, you're trying to aim to hit that point just before your shoulders want to collapse away and fall to the side. So your arms are parallel, and you're just taking your arms as far back as you can while maintaining that scapular stability. Head's nice and long. Inhale, lift the arms up, and as they hit 90 degrees, start your exhale, peeling the body up. Your neutral is now going to go into imprint. You're going to keep on peeling up, and then as your arms hit parallel with the floor, start to reach forwards. Your head will now come down, look between the knees, and now as we inhale, start to rock back. You're going to keep rocking back until you lose the point where you feel like you want to fall, and then you're going to start to unfurl your spine, arms come up, finish the exhale when you hit that point, just when you're about to lose stability. Inhale, lift the arms, hit 90 degrees, peel up. Slowly collapse that neutral into imprint, come all the way up, reach forwards, and now inhale, rock back, and as you come off your sit bones, just lift the arms up and overhead. A little bit faster now. Up. Reach all the way forwards towards your toes, and rock back. Arms all the way up overhead. A couple more of these. So feel that scapular stability, like your arms are reaching away from you. With a lot of these exercises, I always try and ask people to imagine it's like someone's pulling on you. So just imagine someone's holding onto your hands, or you've got ropes around your wrists that are lifting you up, pulling you up away from the mat. Abs are engaged, rib connection, reach forwards, being pulled towards your toes, and then just slowly release back. Arms come up overhead. We'll just do one more. Arms up. Inhale. Curl upwards. Folding over. Reach towards the toes. And then rock back. Unfold yourself. Arms come up. Eyes follow the arms. Hands go up overhead. And now just release the arms down. Take a breath in that position. Now just use one leg to assist yourself back up. And we're going to do our spine twist. We're going to do this one with our legs crossed underneath us today. So I always have issues with tight hamstrings. And this is a good way for anyone to do it, and it alleviates that issue. So you're going to sit up nice and tall, find those sit bones underneath you, reach your arms out. So you want to bring your hands just out to the edges of your periphery. So if you go too far out, you start to kind of feel the shoulder blades coming up against your ribs, and at that point, if you take them any further, you're essentially just using the shoulder joint as opposed to the shoulder girdle to open up that movement more, and then it tends to kind of distort the curve going through your neck. So hands out in the periphery. Inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, rotate round. Inhale, sit tall in the center, and exhale to the other side. So this is a lot like the spinal rotation that we did during the warm-up. I want you to imagine that it's like that door hinge. So your pelvis is forming one cylinder, and then your shoulders are forming the other, and you're trying to keep both as stable as possible, and you're just rotating the shoulders on top of the pelvis. So this bit's moving, but pretty much above the ribs and below the pelvis, everything's staying stationary. Just do one more to get the feel of it. Now as we go back to the first side, we're going to add in some pulses for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, sit tall. Other side. 1, 2, 3. And as you pulse round, you're trying to open up the range of motion a little bit further on each one, but don't force it, and make sure that you're not allowing those shoulders to run off and do their own thing. So you're still maintaining that fixed position, you're not swinging the arms around. You also want to imagine that you've got like a mirror down the center line of your body. So whatever one arm is doing, the other arm is going to mirror perfectly. So that's why you're not allowing the arms to swing around or the shoulders to bend. Shoulder girdle is staying completely fixed. Come back to the center and just relax the arms there. I'm going to really struggle with this one because we're going to do rolling like a ball, and I'm in the middle of the woods, which means it's a very uneven surface. So I'm going to be flopping all over the place. It's much better to do this one on a flat surface. What you're going to do is start in the same position as we did for breathing. And we're just going to do a couple of kind of rolling like a ball preps to get the feel of it. So just put your hands on your knees and then sit nice and tall. Inhale, just exhale, round the back, and then inhale, sit nice and tall again. So just get that feel for what your pelvis is doing. Try and feel those 2 bony prominences, your 2 sit bones. And you sit nice and tall, they should come underneath you. And then as you roll back, you should feel them just sort of drift away, kind of off at a diagonal. So when we do rolling like a ball, we're using those 2 bony prominences as a marker for kind of where we're at in the motion. So come back up to the top. We're going to do the full exercise now. So lift one leg up and then the other. Put your hands on either side of your shins. Bring your head down so there's this nice C curve. And you want to make sure that whatever your head's doing, it's following the thoracic. So a nice curve down through the neck, through the upper back. And then we're just going to inhale and use the expansion of the ribs to rock back. Exhale, lift ourselves back up. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, come back up. So as you inhale, you'll feel your back expand outwards, and almost imagine that's your weight shifting back, pulling you back away, and that's what you're going to use. As I said, this is a really awkward surface to try and do this exercise on. And just try and hold that balance point up at the top before you go into the next repetition. Once you get comfortable with it, try and hold it at the other end as well, just for a split second, and then just finish there. One leg down and then the other. For our next one, come down onto the mat. Find your imprint, so a nice flat engagement through the back with the mat. Bring our legs up to tabletop. and then bring your hands up on either side of your knees. Inhale, head nod. Exhale, peel the upper back away from the mat. And now what we're going to do is inhale, stretch the leg away. We're going to do single leg stretch. Normally there's some crazy stuff that you do with your hands. I'm going to skip that out just to make it easier for everyone. So both hands come to one knee, and then we're going to exhale. As we inhale, the legs start to switch. Exhale, bring the knee in towards your chest. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep that going. And we're not wrenching the knee in, we're just guiding it in towards our chest as the other leg extends out and away. This is all about maintaining your imprint. So we're articulating from the hip here, not from the pelvis. So we're not allowing the pelvis to lift up and come into neutral. So our torso is staying completely fixed against the mat. Our shoulder blades aren't moving at all. We're just moving the arms slightly to guide the legs in, one at a time. Now inhale, exhale, bring both in. Just take a second to rest your head, because your neck's going to get a little bit of tension built up in it. And now we're going to do obliques, which is a very similar exercise, but while during single leg stretch, we're keeping the upper body fixed up off the mat. For the obliques, both your legs and your upper body are going to move together. So, to go into the obliques, bring your hands up to either side of your temples. Inhale, head nod. Exhale, curl the upper body away, extend the legs. Inhale and hold, and as we exhale, one knee comes in, and you're not curling up towards your knee. All I want you to do is rotate the upper back until one elbow touches the ground, and the other elbow comes towards the knee that's in. Inhale together, exhale, switch. Inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. So it's not a curl up, you're just rotating from one side to the other in a consistently curled position. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Maintaining that imprint. Your pelvis should be fairly fixed to the mat. Again, you're just articulating from the hips. You're just going to do a couple more. So you're even on both sides. Both knees together. Lower the head down. Lower one leg and then the other. And relax. Just take a moment to kind of let the neck chill out for a second. For scissors, it's a very similar motion to our single leg stretch. So what you're going to do is bring one leg to tabletop, then the other, extend both legs up. Now just curl yourself up and bring your hands to either side of your knees. So the abs are engaged, not pushing up, just gentle engagement with both the rectus abdominis and the transversus abdominis. From this position, you're going to inhale, then as you exhale, one leg's going to drop away, and you're just going to gently push on the calf to bring the other one in towards you. You can bend the knee if you want. And then inhale together, exhale, switch. So on the inhale, both legs are moving, and then they're crossing each other at about the halfway point. Try not to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And once you're used to that movement, we're just going to introduce a pulse. So inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, 1, 2. Again, you're not wrenching the leg in towards you, you're just guiding it in. And you're just trying to loosen off the hips. Try and increase the range of motion with each one. Keep the neck nice and long. Try not to crunch in. Try not to let your head fall back too far. Keep the abs engaged. Maintain that rib connection. And just do one more on each side. Inhale together. Exhale, lower the body down. Bring the legs to tabletop. One leg down, and then the other. And chill out there. Onto the rollover now. And we're going to do the rollover prep modification of this one. The full rollover is an intermediate exercise, and it involves your legs going all the way up and over your head. And a lot of people really struggle with that one. So we're going to do a much more subtle version of it. So what you're going to do is down on the mat, maintain that imprinted position. You might want to take your hands a little bit wider because you're going to be using your hands just to assist you to pull up a little bit, push up even. And then just bring your legs back up to tabletop, cross the ankles, and then just spread the knees apart a little bit. Inhale, and then as we exhale, contracting with the abs, inhale and release. Exhale and contract, inhale and release. Keep that going. So we're not coming up very far. Don't worry about throwing your legs over your head. Just use the abdominal muscles to pull the hips up and then just release them back down. One more. And release. Pause there. Uncross the legs. Recross them the other way. Find that position again. Imprint. Knees slightly spread. Hands pushing down firmly into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, push up. So it's okay to push through your hands. Just remember that you're not using the leg muscles to throw the legs up. You're using the abdominals to pull on your pelvis to curl it up and towards you. So as I've said before for some of the other exercises, imagine you've got this big balloon in front of you. You're exhaling, squeezing the air out, and then inhaling, reinflating it. Exhaling, squeeze the air out. Inhale, reinflate. One more. And uncross the legs. One leg goes down, and then the other. And just let your legs relax a bit. Flip yourself over into a prone position for our heel squeeze prone. So for this one, you just want to have your hands under your forehead so that you can rest. And you probably want to take your knees out to the full width of the mat. So it's kind of the opposite position that we were just in. So your legs are in that diamond shape with your knees out and your feet together. So you're just going to gently press the heels together, resting the forehead. Try and find a kind of neutral position with the pelvis. And then inhale. As we exhale, squeeze the heels together as hard as you can. Inhale and relax. Exhale and squeeze. So try not to lift the pelvis up at all. So you're maintaining that neutral position. From your pelvis up to your shoulders, you're completely engaged with the mat. And all you're doing is using the gluteal muscles to squeeze inwards and try and maintain that rib connection throughout this exercise. I always find that if I've got really tight gluteal muscles or tight piriformis muscles that are creating a bit of tension in my lower back, this exercise often elicits some pretty loud cracks and clicks. as everything kind of relaxes and settles back into place. Just do one more and just rest there. We're going to stay in the same position with our head rested down on our hands, and we're going to do our one leg kick prep. So you want to bring your knees in so that your legs are kind of parallel, about a hip's distance apart, and then you're just going to gently point the toes. So keep the forehead rested on the hands, and then as you inhale, just bring the leg up, kick once with the toes pointed, and then a second time with the toes flexed, and lower it back down. Inhale, kick, kick, inhale, exhale, kick, kick. So take it slow to begin with, because you're going to find that as you kick, it's going to make your body want to shuffle up and down the mat. So the force and the momentum of your foot and your leg is going to disrupt your position. And the whole point is we're trying to maintain our pelvic and shoulder stability. And we're using that rib connection to control that. So as you get more confident, increase the force and increase the speed, and just see how fast and how far you can go while maintaining that solid base and connection with the mat. Just a couple more on each side. Balance yourself out. And then just relax there. For our last exercise, we're going to do the obliques roll back. So flip yourself back over. And then it's the same position for all of these flexion exercises. To begin with, feet flat on the ground, hips distance apart, legs parallel, knees at approximately 90 degrees. Sit up nice and tall, and then just extend the arms out in front of you so that your arms and your hands are about parallel with the ground. Thread pulling up on the head. Inhale, sit tall, and as we exhale, we're going to roll back, and as we rotate the upper body to the side, the arms are going to come out. Inhale, sit tall, exhale, roll back. So again, there's a tree in the way. That's just poor planning on my part. So we're coming back into this kind of J curve, so the lower back's curved, but the upper back stays upright. And I want you to imagine again, there's this mirror going down your body. So as you roll back and your body comes to the side, the angle between this top arm and your chest increases. So the angle with the other arm has to increase to match it. Nice and tall, rock back, arm comes out. Nice and tall. So the further you can rotate to the side, the further out this hand has to go. So just imagine you're on a lake, in a canoe or something, and you're sweeping your hand through the water and then back up. Feel the sit bones underneath you. So as you rock back, you come off them, and as you sit up, you feel them kind of clunk into place as you sit up on top. A couple more on each side. And make sure that your head is doing the same thing as your back. Sit nice and tall, and relax. So that was the final exercise, but just to finish off, we're going to do a couple of little stretches. The first one I want you to do, just sit nice and tall. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Just place your hands on either side of you. And on an exhale, just sweep the arm up and over, reach over to the side. Inhale, come up. Exhale, arm comes up and over, reach over to the side. Just do a couple more of those. Because we've worked the obliques a lot today. Lots of spinal rotation, so just make sure that you're taking care of that. And then all I want you to do is sit tall, as you exhale, bring the head down, stretch off the neck, stretch off the back, get your head down as close to the ground as you can, and then inhale, sit nice and tall, open up the chest, exhale, roll the head down, if you can touch it to the ground, and then sit nice and tall again. So that's everything that we're going to cover today. I hope you enjoyed that session, and I hope to see you again soon.